So the first step to correct your status would be, I would create something called a non-taxpayer affidavit, or even something called political status correction. Correct your name for the record. When your name was created on a birth certificate, they think they own this, so you have to learn how to create it in a private trust. The Social Security number is a trust. If you look it up, Social Security Trust Administration. It's a public administration. You have to learn how to create your private administration. So you can start with a church, or even a tribe. You can correct your status with a tribe, a church. It's called the Shahada with Muslims. I'm not sure what it's called with Jewish people, but they all undergo a status change. In the Christian community, it's called being baptized. So your baptismal certificate can be also correct your status, and you can use this to identify in the public. Everybody go to onlyfans.com/Don Coulomb. That's onlyfans.com/Don Coulomb. That's DonKilam. You can subscribe there and get access to Don Coulomb University at doncoulomb.com. You can also follow me on the Instagram at DON_KILAM. Again, that's DON_KILAM. Much peace and love.
Peace and love. It's your boy, Don Coulomb, also known as Malik Kalam. And as always, prosperity is your divine birthright. We're tapped in, tuned in today from Orlando. You know, I've been tapped in and talking to a lot of great people this week. A lot of wealth being transferred. Wealth is in the private. So I can't boast and brag about the celebrities and the people that I'm attracting, but it's amazing. As a young buck coming up, I would have never thunk it. Very proud of myself. You must be proud of yourself too. Well, that's what we're here to do, to make our future selves proud. That's what we're here to do, to make our future selves proud. That's exactly what we're here to do. So peace and love, everybody. As always, understand I'm not a licensed attorney or tax expert. I do this for educational and informational purposes only. And I got great lessons in store for you today. All right. Peace and love to everybody. Let me see if I can turn this sound down right here. Let me know where y'all tapped in and tuned in from. Everybody says they got the book. I got the book right here in front of me. From Citizen to Sovereign, learn how to take back your heirship. That's what it's all about. Understanding political status. This is the book. That's the course. And we got great courses in store for you in 2024. Everybody is loving the new look. Everybody's loving the new direction that Don Coulomb University is taking. For beginners and experts alike. I appreciate everybody. I am Blanco says she's learning slowly but surely. We got Kurdistan in the building. Peace and love. For everybody that wants to tap in and tune in with Don Coulomb University, just become a subscriber on the Instagram, an Instagram subscriber. Or if you want direct access to Don Coulomb, you can even schedule consults on the onlyfans.com/Don Coulomb. That's the onlyfans.com/Don Coulomb. Now let's get straight to business. Make sure you share this with everybody in your inbox right now. Everybody that needs to hear this information. At least 3 people right now need to hear this information. Make sure you share this with them. Make sure you share this with them right now. Because we're about to get down to business. All right. And what we're going over today is what I went over yesterday, what I've been pushing out there is the real game, the real deal Holyfield. I'm really pushing out the real deal Holyfield out there. No holds barred. Understand what you're handing down is a family legacy. Your family, your tribe. It's families that are handing down wealth. It's families that are handing down legacies. It's the family. You're handing down a family legacy. And that's what it's all about. And that's what I want everybody to understand, because that's not what they're talking about. They have everybody in this community, this little so-called sovereign community, whatever you want to call it. I'm in the building wealth and transferring wealth and preserving wealth. That's the community that I'm in. And it's private families. It's private families that control the world. It's private families that call the shots. It's private families that run what you call United States in government. The Bushes, the Kennedys. Everybody talks about the Rockefellers. These are families. Can you name an individual Rockefeller? We can name a few individual Bushes because a few were presidents. But at the end of the day, they're in the position that they're in due to their family legacy. And a lot of people don't know who their family are, where their legacy derives from, because they allowed the public to take it from them. Whether it be photo albums, your family history, being reconverted and telling you was a slave, or maybe you was reconverted to a slave. But only the strong survive, and everybody over here in the US of A is royalty, or they would not have ever issued you a social security number. But being in the social security aspect, you're in a slave aspect. The EIN makes you the master. The social always works for the EIN. The EIN administers the Social Security Trust. That's who can make the claims against the Social Security Trust. So you got to learn how to get out of the aspect of being a slave. You have to get out of the aspect of being a debtor. And that's anytime you're claiming these documents in the public, whether it be the birth certificate. And it doesn't make sense to me when people claim these birth certificates as identity documents. The government clearly tells you this is not identity documents. Do not identify with these things. The Social Security trust number, it's a number, it's a trust. And you're identifying with it, saying it's you. That's making you liable for this business. If somebody identifies for Walmart, you know how many people are trying to sue Walmart? Nobody's going to identify and take liability for that business. You know how many people are trying to sue Amazon and Jeff Bezos? So you got to learn how to hand down the private wealth correctly. And that's through private family business trust. But you got to understand business starting off. Every family is a business. It costs to run a household. It costs to run a household. You have to have cars, you got children, you got education. And this is what we're going to talk about today, because if you're sending your offspring, you're sending your family to the right education, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to educate our offsprings to grow our family wealth. Let me know that you agree. Put it in the chat that you agree. Let me know where y'all tapped in and tuned in from too. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. I appreciate everybody tapped in and tuned in. Let me know what city you're tapped in and tuned in from. But you're here. We got our agrees. Let's go. We got Florida in the building. We got Virginia checking in. We got Arizona. Shout out to Arizona. We got Houston in the building. C Code Train says I agree. We got another Florida in the building. New York says I agree. I agree all the way from New York. We got Massachusetts in the building. Shout out to Massachusetts, the big MA. We got Atlanta in the building, Philly in the building, Aberdeen, Maryland in the building, Akron in the building, Inglewood in the building. Stand up, Inglewood. We got I agree in Houston. We got Atlanta agreeing with us. We got Milwaukee. Shout out to Milwaukee. We got Detroit in the building. We got Naptown in the building, the 317. Shout out to the 317. We got shout out to Justin London. Big facts. Everybody agrees. Spring Hill, Florida. We got Frisco in the building. 602 Phoenix in the building. Oklahoma in the building. Shout out to STL. That's home, baby. Virginia in the building. That's what's good. That's what's good. I appreciate everybody. South Florida, Charlotte in the building. So listen, your main objective in life is to hand down education and wealth preservation. We got Las Vegas in the building. And I'm glad everybody's agreeing. I'm glad. I need that interaction. Shout out to Chi-Town, Midwest in the building. So listen, I need y'all, I'm gonna break this down slow. I did it in the last video, okay? I did it in the last video. But at the end of the day, the education that you receive should be making you wealthy. And if the public education made us all wealthy, then we would all be there. If the education that we received in the public is to make us wealthy, we would all be there. So something is wrong with your public education. So you have to invest in a private education. You have to invest in a private education. There's 12 years of a public education that taught you nothing. That taught you how to be a slave. That taught you how to be a debtor. And that's why you keep chasing this Social Security number thinking the government owes you something. You can't receive anything in life. You can't receive anything in life for nothing. But it's my Social Security number, Don. Is it? You can only control what you create. This is my Sophisticated Value Trust, Don. Is it? Well, who's the grantor? Who's the grantor? Who created this trust? Did you create it? Or these are your documents? Because last time I checked, you can only control what you create. So let's get down to business, because it's business. You need to understand business. Small businesses under their system is anything under $5 million. So everybody's a small business up until they reach $5 million. All right. So everyone is considered a small business as an individual sole proprietor. You're an individual sole proprietor business already. And you cannot hand down wealth as an individual sole proprietor. You just can't. Individuals do not hand down wealth. Families hand down wealth. I need y'all to understand that. It's public banking versus private banking. Everyone is a bank. Everyone is a private bank. This is why they always highlight banking crises in order to stray you away from learning banking. You are the trustee, and you must learn fiduciary duties and fiduciary law when dealing with anything in the public, whether it's a Federal Reserve note, promissory notes, covenants, whatever it may be that you're dealing with. Job applications, that puts you in a fiduciary status. That puts you in a trustee status. You're working for a trust. You're applying to work for somebody's idea. You're applying to work for somebody's intellectual property. You're applying to work for somebody's trust. Because all the trust is collective ideas. Now, this is trusteeship. When you sign a W-4 form, when you sign an application, this is trusteeship. You're deemed to be the trustee. Now, that's why we create private trustee training with Don Coulomb, so you can understand this. All right. The private side is live and well. The public side is always in debt, under bankruptcy, and a crisis. So I have to tell everybody every day, they come to me. They say, I'm a secure party creditor. I filed this UCC-1. I put my birth certificate in a trust. I put my birth certificate in the UCC-1, Don Coulomb. Oh, yeah? So you're a secure party creditor? Well, how's your family? Because families hand down wealth. How's your family? Individuals do not hand down wealth. How's your family? Does this make sense, everybody? Can you be a secure party creditor if your family's not well? Huh? How do we hand down wealth? We hand down wealth through families. So can you be a secure party creditor if your family is not well? It's divide and conquer. Your family's not well. You'll never hand down wealth. Let me know that this makes sense. And I hope that it does make sense. So, is your family thriving or just barely surviving? If your family isn't thriving, how can you ever claim to be secure? How can you claim to be secured if your family is not thriving? You can never be a secure party if your family is not thriving. So to make full sense, got to build that legacy. It makes sense. Can't build on a weak foundation. And that's a key word right there, foundation, because that's one asset class to hand down wealth is through foundations. We don't, at the end of the day, you don't Peace and love, peace and love. Somebody just shouted out Patrick Devine. Shout out to the great Patrick Devine, the great late Patrick Devine. But you can't hand down wealth unless you don't want to hand it down to a person at the end of the day, because the government's going to get there, put their nose in the business. They claim these domains and persons. You have to hand it down through private foundations, private membership associations, private unassociated associations, private charities, private investments, private endowments. These are all asset classes. And a lot of people don't understand. And this is what I go over. And this is what we're going over. We're getting you together from zero to hero on Don Coulomb University. Make sure you tap in and tune in at the onlyfans.com/Don Coulomb, DonKilam. And make sure you get this book too. It's the #1 new release right now, From Citizen to Sovereign, Understand Political Status Correction. And the reason why you want this book, because it's interactive. You can scan the QR codes and there's interactive videos. All right. Now, what wealth is, because you got to understand wealth preservation. That's asset protection. So from asset protection, wealth preservation, public banks are owned by the government. I'm saying again, public banks are owned by the government. So that's not wealth preservation. A public bank is never wealth preservation. Wealth preservation is all about having your family secured. So family law is private law. I need people to understand this. And we've been teaching this a long time in the private, but it's time to break this down in the public so y'all can start grasping. The Amish are a family. They're a community, a common unity, a family, a tribal family, and they're thriving. So, this is how they're established. This is how the wealthy are established. You hand down wealth through your family and private family business trust. The trust will always make sure the family is secured if you establish it correctly. And that's my definition, Don Coulomb's definition of a secure party creditor. Making sure your family is secure. Because being able to operate internationally, that's also private. So and this is what I'm going to tell you. In the public, listen, let me know if y'all agree with this. What class in the public schools, what class did you learn how to deal and do business internationally? Since American schools are so great, since you learn so much in the public education system, since you learn so much with your master's degree, your bachelor's degrees, and we're not going to knock these things because keys do open doors, and I got my own degrees. I just don't talk about them because in a public education system, they're not teaching you how to do business internationally because that's private. That's a private education. They don't teach international business in college and university. You go into debt when you go to college. And that's based on somebody else's trust. That's based on the Rockefeller endowments. The Rockefeller endowments is what pays for schools and hospitals and a lot of different things to educate you to continue to feed their family legacy. So what are you doing to feed your family legacy? You have to learn how to be on donor boards from the family trust. You're part of the family trust. And you donate to hospitals, so you're on the donor wall. So your family's on the donor wall. So you get a different type of treatment. They're no longer private practicing on you. When you go into the community because your family is donating and the private, through a family private trust, the municipalities are treating you different because you help fund the community. Your family's trust name is on the walls at the chambers of commerce, giving a $5,000 grant, a $10,000 grant, whatever it may be, to help the common unity of where you reside. This is how you get around things. This is how you get different treatment. This is how you get to the top 1%, the elite status. This is how you were able to maneuver differently in public when you learn how to operate in the private correctly, because the trust becomes self-perpetual, which means it can last forever. Who created the trust, Don Coulomb? The family did. I work for the family. Because when you have other people, you have to learn this. if you look up the USPTO, trademark fighting apples, anybody that is the grantor or the author of any document, then anybody who signed to it is the employee. So if you're not even creating your family trust, you're still a slave to it. So you might as well learn how to be an employee to your family. So understand, public schools, public education will never teach you how to do business internationally because that is private banking. It's a private education. Wealth is in the private and being handed down through family trust and family businesses, private family businesses. Everybody wants to talk about this straw man account, right? So that is a public account. We teach privacy and asset protection. So anytime you're putting things under a Social Security number, that's pledging that labor, that's pledging that asset to the public. I hope that makes sense. Anytime you get something under your Social Security number, you're pledging that asset to the public. A public trust is deemed to be owned by the United States Federal Corporation. 28 USC 3002 subsection 15A. Does this make sense? So this is when you get a car, you don't pay your taxes, they take the car. When you get a mortgage, you don't pay it, they take the house, they foreclose on the house. Anytime you use this Social Security number, it's a position and it's not in the best interest for you. It's a public position. Let me know that this makes sense, because everybody keeps claiming these documents. You can't even get an original birth certificate. You can only get a certified copy. Show me the original. You can only control what you create. Fly Order says exactly why you need to separate the public from the private. Move that straw man out of your home and put it back in your control. I like that. You got to learn how to maneuver correctly. And a lot of people don't know how to maneuver correctly. And it's easy. Quit using it. It's not yours. Don't nobody owe you nothing. I'm gonna dig a little bit more deeper. So let's go. Make no personal claims to a public strawman account that's gonna put you in all public debts owned by the United States. So I also get people reaching out every day talking about they put their birth certificate in the UCC1 and issued a bond. I issued a bond on my UCC1. So they asked, I want to deposit this birth certificate in the bank. And I guess they're trying to get some type of derivative for it. So first of all, you need to learn business and private banking. You have to learn business and private banking, and people are not studying the right things. I don't know what they're studying or what guru they talk to when they're trying to just deposit a birth certificate in a bank account or claim it on a UCC1. So listen, first of all, you need to learn business and private banking. Then you need to learn about securities and derivatives. So in the private, there's no stock exchange. I'm saying it again, in the private, there's no such thing as a stock exchange, because that would be a stock exchange. In the public, with public banking, you just can't go in a public bank and deposit these type of notes. That's a public bank account. Public bank account. You don't even have a major account. That's a different type of account. That's investment banking, wealth management. You have to learn how to get contracts and creditor debtor agreements, all right? And get them classified as securities. And this can't be done with your ordinary public bank account. I'm going to say this again. I'm giving you the game right here, $1 million worth of game. You have to learn how to get contracts and learn how to get these contracts and creditor debtor agreements and get them classified as securities. And this can't be done with your ordinary public bank accounts. I hope this makes sense. Barry Black says, I love you. You're changing my life. Let me know that this is making sense for everybody. Whether you're watching live right now or you're watching on a replay, leave a comment, like, subscribe, share, do all that good stuff. So, in the private, there's no stock exchanges, okay? You have to learn how to get the contracts and the creditor debtor agreements and get them classified as securities. And that's why we're laughing at these public gurus who teach this. You don't see them transferring wealth. They're not transferring wealth. They have you thinking that you have your freedom, that these are freedom documents, and that they're putting a security interest or lien on the straw man, but the public and private don't mix. This is a rule of commerce. If you use a UCC1 financing form, that's not a lien anyways. A security interest is the lien. The promissory note security interest is the lien. The UCC1 is making it a public announcement that you have a lien. So now you just gave it up to the public. You can only control what you create and you put it on their forms. So when you understand you are the bank in the private, and all you can give is your labor and talents, and that's why you have to learn how to insure it as well. In the private, there is no money. It's full faith and credit. So when you learn who you are and your ideas, your intellectual property, whatever it may be, that's what's funding the trust. You're going to learn how to insure it as well. Because insurance is private banking as well. Insurance is private banking. Simple as that. That's what the Social Security Trust is private insurance. And this is one of the first forms of wealth preservation, making sure your legacy still pays your family when your talent or labor is gone and passes. So when you deal with public banking systems, you understand you are giving up your banking rights. You're giving up your rights. Because all the public banking is owned and managed by the government. The public sector is part of the economy that the government controls, and you must be in the proper structures and proper positions in order to produce the proper profits. So insurance is you want to insure your talents for sure, especially when you start getting it. And the beneficiary of the insurance is going to be the trust. A lot of people tell me every day they're restricting my freedom of speech because they take down videos on public platforms such as YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. They take down some of my videos as well. But you got to understand, they're not restricting freedom of speech because you agreed to the terms and conditions. You read the community guidelines. These are private banking. This is private banking. Because that's private banking, they can take your content because you agreed to it. They can take it down and take it. And so that's not private contracts so that's private contracts, that's private law. That's showing you right there. You have to learn these things, especially since you are the fiduciary. So there's no attack on your freedom of speech. These public platforms are public depositories of your intellectual property. It's own nothing, control everything. So they control your intellectual property and allow you to claim it as yours as they do with it as they see fit. Own nothing, control everything. You put up the videos, they can do whatever they want with it. Private family trust puts the family first. Understand this. So you're no longer sinking. Everyone is worried about the saying whatever the fuck they chase and saying the government owes them. In the private, we say all of our rights are reserved. We have no contracts with the government. The Amish is not going to claim that they have contracts with the government. When you claim the public and people in the public, how many of them people are actually thriving? How many people are actually thriving? So in the private, it's own nothing, control everything. No one owes us anything, but we owe it to our family. It's the family legacy we owe. So when you change your mentality, your whole world will shift. Your whole world will change. Private banking is getting paid from your private thoughts and turn it into an income source. That's a form of private banking, and every movement that you do is valuable, and it pays your family. It pays your tribe. It pays your family legacy. Your ideas will yield you profit. The family contract forces your education to make your family grow your legacy, to make your family grow and your legacy grow. Private family banking, the family has to eat. So the trust is always invested in the betterment of the private family trust. How do we make this portfolio grow? How do we grow our assets? How do we make our family successful? In the private, the family trust invests in hedge funds that push out 18%, 30% when you learn the game and interest dividend yielding. So you must invest in assets that yield dividends. Cash is a depreciating asset due in part to inflation and other currencies. So you must learn the game, the private contracts that pay you dividends, how you claim your interest on any fractional reserve banking of dealing with the public. If you're going into the private, you are going to have your trustees invest in a private education as well. Everyone claims that privacy is under attack, but it is not. How you are assessing the situation. There are different protocols for intangible and tangible property. So intangible property would be your intellectual assets. That's intangible property. And basically, that's what I got for everybody, man. Learn the private side of the private family business. The private family trust. It's all about family. It's all about family. And that's what it's about. Tap in and tune in with Don Coulomb. Onlyfans.com/Don Coulomb. Again, go to onlyfans.com/Don Coulomb. Tap into Don Coulomb University. That's how you can get access to DonCoulombUniversity.com and DonCoulomb.com. So you can get access to all my courses and animated courses. And right now, go get From Citizen to Sovereign, Understand Political Status by Don Coulomb University on Amazon. We got it on paperback, hardback book, and also on Kindle. It's trending and in the paperback, hardback, and the Kindle. It's all trending #1 new release. With that, I'm out. Much peace and love. And remember, prosperity is your divine birthright. Peace.
Are you ready to unlock the secrets of commerce and build an empire that lasts for generations? Look no further. Introducing $1 Million Worth of Game by Don Coulomb, your official guide to the private and public side of commerce. In this groundbreaking book, Don Coulomb reveals the strategies and insider knowledge you need to create and protect your wealth. Learn how to navigate the intricate world of commerce, master the art of building an empire, and secure a lasting legacy for your family. Get your hands on $1 Million Worth of Game today and embark on a transformative journey toward financial abundance. Don't miss out on the opportunity to build your empire and secure a prosperous future for generations to come. Get ready to conquer the world of commerce. $1 Million Worth of Game by Don Coulomb, your ultimate guide to building an empire and leaving a legacy. $1 Million Worth of Game by Don Coulomb. Available now. Get your copy and start your journey to generational wealth.